everyone. Welcome to the live Q&A. Now, at this moment in time, I'm a little bit early. I'm just trying to set up just now because OBS is giving me an update. So everything's a little bit different. I can now manage my live YouTube streams on OBS before I actually upload it. So just getting to grips with that. As usual, if you can see me fine and you can hear me okay in this microphone, then give me a thumbs up or say that's good or yes. Okay, I think we're okay. I'll give it another minute and then I'll start. Now this is called Halloween Ends live Q&A, but like all live Q&As that I've done in the past, people ask questions that are not Halloween related, sometimes not even horror related. So if you've got any questions about absolutely anything, it's just a live Q&A, nothing major. I actually decided to do this live Q&A because I had the house to myself for an hour or so. So I'll be on here for just over an hour answering some questions that I've maybe not answered before. There are some specific questions that I've been asked that I've made videos for that I've actually got scheduled for the future. So if you ask me anything to do with any scheduled videos, then just look out for the scheduled videos. But because there's been so many questions lately, especially after the release of the Halloween Ends trailer, that I've decided to do a Q&A because I can get some of the smaller questions out the way, or questions that I'd maybe want to elaborate on that I've answered before but maybe change my mind on, etc. So just some things like that. So let me just check the chat and see what's happening. Okay, right, so yeah, I'll start getting into the questions and stuff, guys. I've still got a bad cough, not a bad cough, but I've still got that cough from long COVID. So bear with me if I have to cough, then I'll have to mute you while I do that. Okay, just testing. Okay. So first question is from JR. They've wrote, do you want to know more about Michael's origin? I know his character is all about the mystique, but if there was ever a time to reveal more, it would be at the end. Yeah, I would say if you're going to reveal anything about Michael Myers that hasn't already been revealed, then I would say the best place to do that would be at the end of this timeline. That's the best place to do it. However, I do say this in a future video, but I will elaborate it. Well, I have elaborated on it in the future video, but I would say that it's best to leave certain things unsaid. This whole timeline is based on John Carpenter's original Halloween from 1978, and they all want to honour John Carpenter's wishes and do not what he wants, but keep it along the same lines, narrative feel to his original. And if that was the case, we won't find anything else out about Michael. We've already found out everything that we want to know. We've already found out everything that we need to know about Michael Myers as well. So if they're still staying true to the original, I don't think we will find out anything else. But to answer that question, if we are to find anything else out, I would suggest that it would be at the very end of Halloween Ends. That's the best place to do it, to be honest. So for those of you who are just joining the chat, hey everyone, Maga Cat, hey Barry, hello everyone. Andy's in from 31 Hallow's Death. Mr. Broslice, W90Z8, my Chunky Geordie, Ryan McCall. I don't know, I might have to use the other question chat because it keeps skipping. So Ryan McCall has asked, How do you feel about a Halloween 5 remake? I go into this. Yeah, that's easier. So yeah, Ryan, how do I feel about a Halloween 5 remake? I would suggest and guess you mean like a sequel to Halloween 4. Um, I would like it, but where did they go from there? Because doing a sequel to a movie, doing a sequel to an original is considered these days normal because you're trying to just do a sequel off the back of the first best movie. But doing a sequel after a timeline, and I know we discuss this all the time, we're doing that would be doing a sequel in a timeline that had previous movies with previous timelines as well. So it'll be a messy one to do a sequel to Halloween 4, i.e. a Halloween 5 remake. Would I prefer to see a Halloween 5 remake over the Halloween 5 that we got? Yeah, absolutely. Halloween 5 is one of the worst Halloween movies in the franchise for me, personally. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but yeah, it's one of the worst ones. So how I would feel about it, I wouldn't mind. I would be intrigued to see what they do with it, but I don't think there's anywhere else they can go with a Halloween 5 remake or a sequel to Halloween 4 other than to bring in people like Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd again, maybe even Rachel coming back, played by Ellie Cornell. But apart from that, there'd be no need to do it, I would say. Liam Wynn has asked, what do you personally consider to be the worst thing? Do you mean the worst thing movie or the worst thing in the world? The worst thing movie is probably the prequel from 2011, but I still like it. If you mean the worst thing, I'd probably say Onions. I hate Onions. They always reminded me, this might not even be what you're asking, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Onions always reminded me of The Lion King from 1994. When they lift up that rock and you see all the bugs and stuff and they start biting into them, Timon and Pumbaa. From that moment on, I just got the feeling that it looked and sounded like crunching onions, and I just can't have onions. To this day, no onions for me. So that's the worst thing. Good afternoon or good morning or good evening to anyone who's joining the chat. It is 10 to 5 p.m. here, UK time. I know that it's probably still morning time or early afternoon wherever you are in the US, and it's maybe later on if you're from Eastern Europe or Australia, for example. It's going to be night time there. So hello to everyone who's joining the chat. Jeremy Lucas has asked, how do you think it will end? It's a very generic question because I honestly don't know how I think it's going to end. Is it going to end for the potential sequel to this timeline? Or is it going to end knowing that it's done, but they're giving us a teaser of what's to come? Because we know there's going to be more Halloween movies. We just don't know what way we're going to get these. Are we going to get anthology movies first of all? Are we getting James Bond style Halloween movies where they just reboot it every few years, give us a couple of sequels to those movies and reboot it again? That's what I prefer anyway, but I really don't know. I'd need to see another trailer to really determine where I think this is going to go. Another drink. But yes, it's a hard question to answer at this point. Mr. Broslice has said, the main reason I watch you is your accent. Well, thanks very much, Mr. Broslice. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for other people because I know that some people really hate my accent or they think I'm speaking a different language. It's just an accent, guys. No different to you. But thanks very much. Chris Trash has asked, do you think Michael Myers will only have a small role in Halloween Ends? Honestly, no, I don't think he will. I don't think he'll have as small as role as a lot of people are thinking. I know that some people think he's only going to come in the last 10 minutes or so. I don't think that's the case. I think we are going to see Michael Myers throughout. Oh, pardon me. Excuse me. I think we'll see him throughout, but I don't think he'll do a lot of killing in this film. That doesn't mean I think someone else will do the killing. I just think there won't be a high body count, especially compared to Halloween Kills. I think, like they said, they're going to tone it down. It's going to be an intimate movie, so I don't see a high body count, but I still see us seeing Michael Myers quite a bit. But even if we don't see Michael Myers a lot, it's not a bad thing. We didn't see him a lot in the original era. He's supposed to be the boogeyman. You're not supposed to see him all the time. So if we don't see him a lot, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. I just think, just don't show us too much of him. Again, guys, sorry, the chat keeps on scrolling to the bottom and to the top. Always the case. Just to let you know, guys, as well, for those of you who are in the chat, if there is any spoilers, I've not seen any yet, but if anybody tries to intentionally post spoilers, I'm going to have to remove whoever it is from the chat and from the channel as well. So even if you're joking, guys, please don't joke, because I don't know if it's going to be a joke or not. If I read, this is what happens, or I know what happens, or such and such dies, then whether it's a joke or not, I can't take that risk, unfortunately, for myself or for people in the chat. So I will have to remove that, unfortunately, sorry. Gary Hedger has said, I've heard there is going to be a sequel to the Monster Squad. It'll probably never happen, to be honest, Gary. I sent an idea into Fred Decker, who was the director of the Monster Squad. I really liked the idea that, sort of like the Avengers would have a Wolfman movie based on the Monster Squad's Wolfman. We'd have a Dracula movie, Frankenstein's monster movie, a movie with the kids, and then do like an Avengers style sequel where they all come together and it's called the Monster Squad, and that would be the eventual remake to the original Monster Squad, leading up to that from all these individual movies. That would be the best way to do a movie like that in today's society. A sequel I would be absolutely fine with, but if you want to fit in with today's society, everything has to be part of a universe, unfortunately. And if you want to get with that trend, I would say that the idea that I gave to Fred Decker would be the best way around. That's what I think anyway. Fabian Annabelle Alejandro Merkel has said, you think this is actually the last appearance of Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode? 100%. This is it. It's got to be the end for Laurie Strode. Not necessarily the death of Laurie Strode, but this is absolutely 100% Jamie Lee Curtis's last appearance as Laurie Strode. I don't think she can do it again, because she lies quite a lot and she says, oh, this is my final stance. This is my last time playing Laurie Strode. She said that in Halloween 1. She said that for Halloween 2. She said it for Halloween H2O. That was the ultimate end. Then Money Talked, and she said it for Resurrection. And then she waited a while and then said it again for this Halloween David Gordon Green trilogy. But I think this is the end for, not Laurie Strode as a character, because we might see her in future movies, but it's definitely the end for Jamie Lee Curtis for sure. Andy from 31 Hallows Death has said, after watching the trailer of Halloween 2018 and Kills and Ends, which trailer made you most hyped for the movie? I would say Halloween 2018's trailer made me more hyped for any of the Halloween trilogy that we're getting these days. And that's because it's the first one in this trilogy, the first one in, say, 9 years since Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So that was the one that we all got excited about the most. Whether the trailer's as good as Kills or Ends trailers, it doesn't matter. I just think the hype for 18 was a lot bigger. So the trailers might not have been even better, but it just drew me towards the franchise again. If I'm being honest, I really like the concept trailer that I made last week. If you haven't seen it, guys, check it out. It's called Halloween Ends Extended Saga trailer. Just taking bits from Ends trailer that we got, putting them into a kind of saga trailer that leads up to the eventual end of this trilogy. I liked it. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Sarpe Jr. has said, big fan from Canada. I'm sure you're a massive fan of Dave McRae then, Sarpe, because obviously he's Canadian. But thanks very much. Always great to see Canadian fans. Canadians and Scottish people have that deep connection, that deep root. And if you're from Nova Scotia, then even deeper root. Mr. Chunky Geordie has said, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is the worst film though. Yeah, I mean, it changes for me. That's why sometimes I don't like doing rankings, but I do them anyway. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 usually is the bottom of the list for me, but sometimes Resurrection goes to the bottom, and then sometimes Halloween 5 goes to the bottom, but there's no denying, collectively, through the communities, etc., I think Halloween 5, Halloween Resurrection, and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 are usually at the bottom of most people's lists. Apologies guys if I don't get to all your comments as well. Some of them, it's skipping me, so I'm missing some of them out by accident. But I'll read as many as I can in the space of time that I've got. Yeah, Shell said the worst film is Resurrection in my opinion. And again, Shell, it's the same with me. Resurrection, Rob Zombie's Part 2, and Halloween 5. Those three tend to be at the bottom of my list, depending on how I'm feeling, or when I rewatch them all again, I'll say to myself, do you know what, I'm putting that one at the bottom. It's hard to get through those three films. I can watch the rest of them all the way through without any interruptions, without looking at my phone, but the other three that I mentioned, there's just something about them that I'll pick up my phone and just browse while the film's on in the background eventually, because I get so bored of it. Insular Mercenary said, David Gordon Green upset me in his first Halloween with the rest are just stories people made up. It's rude to poo-poo decades of fan favourite films. That one line has tainted the trilogy for me. Do you know what? I kind of agree with you there, because no matter how good or bad these other films were in the franchise, they are still part of the franchise, and if it weren't for those movies, then the franchise would have died a long time ago. So to bring a trilogy back today as a sequel to the original might not have worked, or might not have been as popular unless it was for those previous sequels that he's mocking. So we can mock the films because we're the critics, you know, we either like them or hate them, but he's getting into a franchise to make a movie, to make a trilogy. So for him to shit on films that were made previously, whether they're good or bad or not, very disrespectful, especially when Jamie Lee Curtis does it as well. She disrespects Halloween H2O, and I'm old enough to remember interviews with Jamie Lee Curtis talking about Halloween H2O when it just came out, saying it's the best film in the franchise. I absolutely love it. This is the pinnacle. You're not going to get better than this, etc. And now she's shitting on the film because she can. So I don't agree with most of the things that actors and producers, directors, etc. say about other films, especially after they're gone now. They're done and that's it. We have to respect every film in the franchise. That's alright for me to say that after saying the Halloween 5, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 and Resurrection are bad. They are bad, but I spend money on them. I buy them. I give money to the companies that make them, and I take my time and watch them and talk about them online. So yes, I hate those movies, but I still give them the time of day, and I will always respect the filmmakers for making the films because they gave it to us, they attempted, and they done their best. Sometimes your best isn't good enough, but for David Gordon Green to say something like that, it's very disrespectful, I would say. Good question. Pumpkin Man Forever has said, I actually have a soft spot for Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I also love Halloween 3. Yeah, I mean, there are some people who like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Generally, it's at the bottom of most people's list, but I know there are some fans of that film, and even fans of Resurrection and Halloween 5. And obviously, as you can see, I'm a massive fan of Season of the Witch. Yeah, I think that's slowly becoming some people's secret favourites, to be honest, because it is different and it doesn't do the same thing over and over again. Richard Francis has said, hi from England. Do you think with Jamie Lee Curtis leaving Halloween, will it be the same? I think it'll be different. And I think it'll be different in a good way. You know, everybody wanted to see Laurie Strode come back. Everyone wanted to see Jamie Lee Curtis come back. Don't know why, because she died a couple of times. But sometimes to refresh a franchise after all this time, bring them back and then kill them off or make them leave in a good way or whatever. But it's always good to refresh it. That's why Halloween 4 was so refreshing, because it waited 10 years. It didn't bring Laurie Strode back. It brought Dr. Loomis back, but the main characters were just a little girl and a teenage girl, and that's it. And Rachel and Jamie, and they become fan favourites as well after a couple of movies. So there's no say, you don't have to say it needs to have Jamie Lee Curtis, it needs to have Laurie Strode to survive. It doesn't. The franchise itself has proven that already. You don't have to have Laurie Strode. So I think it can survive on its own without her, if they do it right and if they get the right actress or actor to play the lead role in future movies. Just going to get a drink, guys. Will Pentland has asked a really important question. Barry, would Michael in the mask handle this Glasgow heat? Absolutely not. It's about 26 degrees just now in Glasgow. Not unheard of because it's happened before, but it's absolutely roasting here. I'm inside, I've got the blinds and the windows shut, but it's absolutely roasting. I've got a fan, but I feel like if I put the fan on, you guys will hear it and it'll go through my microphone, so I'm just taking the heat just now. Mario Johnson has said, hi Barry, great channel, thanks very much. I'd like to see Michael stalking more like the 1978 movie and a build up to him taking every JJ on me out. I hope he lives at the end of Halloween Kills. Do you? Well, if you've not seen Halloween Kills, spoiler alert, he did survive the end of Halloween Kills. I'm assuming you meant Halloween Ends, and I hope he lives at the end of Halloween Ends. I don't know why. I'd prefer Michael to live at the end of this movie than Laurie Strode. If they both die, then fair enough. If Michael dies, fair enough. But if I had to choose, if somebody said to me, you can choose, I'd be like, okay, Laurie dies and Michael lives. That's my choice. That would be my choice anyway. Me, myself, and the movie has said, non-horror related and slightly random. Have you ever been to the Isle of Mull, Barry? I visited a few times. Great place. I love Scotland. I've never been to the Isle of Mull. I've been to some isles in Scotland, but never the Isle of Mull. I'm a photographer, so I'd love to go to places like that. I know it's supposed to be beautiful as well. Seen pictures of it. But yeah, I love to go north of Scotland. Everywhere around Scotland is absolutely stunning. Apart from where I live in Glasgow. So up the Highlands and the islands, etc. It's just absolutely stunning. If you haven't been to Glasgow, if you haven't been to Scotland, guys, I highly recommend you check it out. It's absolutely beautiful. Fabian has came back with another question. He said, Laurie Strode's daughter is definitely dead and Halloween Ends, right? I would say so, yeah. She was dead as a doornail at the end of Halloween Kills. That's what's supposed to have made Halloween Kills ending so impactful, that the fact that her own daughter has died at the hands of Michael Myers, and we can kind of blame Laurie Strode a little bit for it. Of course, we can blame Sartain because Sartain brought Michael to Laurie, but at the end of the day, Laurie was so infatuated with doing damage to Michael Myers that she's brought her family into the fold, and unfortunately for Karen, she's paid the price, and so has Laurie. Yeah, I was just reading a message by Patrick Hartnett there. He just said he's not a fan of the new trilogy, but if they actually kill Laurie, I'd be satisfied. Wishful thinking. I would say, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say wishful thinking for me. If she doesn't die, the movie might still be good. But yeah, I know that some people are a little bit fed up with seeing Laurie Strode surviving all these times and being able to overpower Michael Myers, etc. So yeah, I mean, I think that would satisfy a lot of people, especially people who are not really big fans like yourself, Patrick, of this trilogy. And if that's what makes you like it a little bit more, then that'd be good. Jordan Moran is in the house. Jordan has said, will you be watching Halloween Ends in IMAX since we were denied it for Kills? Absolutely. Hopefully I'm going to get to see an advanced screening of it. Fingers crossed. There's some hopeful plans in the works, but if not, then I'll be trying to go that Thursday midnight, Friday morning in IMAX, front and centre, with my pen and paper there like a sad person. But yeah, absolutely 100% IMAX, because we didn't get to see it in IMAX for Kills. And I would like to see a Halloween movie on IMAX. I've never seen a Halloween movie on IMAX, so that would be pretty fantastic if you ask me. Oh, we've got our first super chat, and it's from the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast. £8.99. Thanks very much for that, Darren and or Frank, whoever it was. For the channel, my friend. Looking forward to our next collab. Thanks very much, you guys. If you don't know who the Slaughtered Lamb are, guys, I've done a collab with Darren from the Slaughtered Lamb just last week, which was fantastic, and it's getting a lot of hits on YouTube at the moment. But check their channel out, guys. They're fantastic. I think a lot of people say this, but Darren and Frank's voices, I don't know if it's just the microphones that they use, but their voices are just so soothing. They could probably just say the alphabet and you could sit and listen to them. They're that good. But thanks for dropping in, guys, and thanks for the super chat. I'm going down. Mr. Bro Slice, you've came back with a question or a statement. Yeah, you've wrote, I think the main thing the sequels of Halloween are missing is the loneliness and the innocent Halloween vibe of the original. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think they kind of tried to bring that into 2018 and it worked for a little bit, but then Halloween Kills took it away a little bit away again because they were just focusing on the blood and gore. I'm hoping that they strip that back again. I know that Halloween Kills gave us a really good flashback that did feel like the original. So if they give us more of that feel, whether we're getting another flashback or not, or whether it's going to be just modern day, give us that feel. You don't have to just give us that feel in 1978. Keep it going for 2022. I don't understand that. They've got the technology to make us feel like we're sitting in a time capsule. Do it for the whole movie. That would be great. Look, Brockway has said, would you like to see more movies or an episodic Halloween on Netflix or Prime? Probably not, to be honest. Usually when a movie goes to Prime as a show, it means one of two things. One, it's gotten too big for its boots and wants to just make more and more money, like the Marvel and Star Wars films done. They're just doing show after show, which is too much. Or it's going nowhere, like the Chucky franchise, and gets put on Sci-Fi as this cheap ass TV show. So if I had the choice, I would say no, but I would obviously watch it. You know, if they've done an 8-part series on Netflix, I'm obviously going to watch every episode of it, and I'm going to analyse it. I'm going to do a review for every episode on the channel. So in a way, it's good for the channel content, but if I'm being honest, I prefer that they don't do that. What about you guys? It's a good topic though, something I've always planned on speaking about. Martin Curry has asked, hi Barry, love the channel, thank you. Do you think if this movie divides the fans, it could have a negative impact on David Gordon Green's Exorcist? Yeah, I do. You know, that's what I'm glad that David Gordon Green has the Exorcist project ahead of him, because he knows himself that if Halloween Ends is not good, then his Exorcist franchise, his Exorcist trilogy, sorry, won't be under threat. He'll still make it anyway, but he will know that people might not trust his filmmaking for horror movies. He is a great filmmaker. You know, he's done the Pineapple Express. He's done that film with Jake Gyllenhaal. Stronger, is it? The one with the guy with the bombing. So he's a competent filmmaker. So I'm hoping that he just gives it his all for Halloween Ends. Because if it doesn't, people might not want to see The Exorcist. Hardy1298 has asked, where would you like to see Michael go when another director takes over in a few years? It really just depends on the director, to be honest, because some directors have different visions and different ways to make a scary movie. So I'd like to see Michael coming out of Haddonfield. I've said this before. You don't need Haddonfield. As long as if you've already told the story of Haddonfield, if you've already told the story of Michael Myers' house, why not move it out into California again like H2O? Why not put it somewhere else? Drop it somewhere else. Like not exactly the same, but you've got that movie Prey. It's a Predator movie set in 1719. It was very unique for the Predator franchise and took us away from the usual movies that we get in that franchise. So do something else with Halloween. Set it somewhere else. Don't set it in Scotland or anything like that. Don't set it in Australia. You know, keep it in America. But no Haddonfield all the time. And if you're going to make a Haddonfield, give us something new. Amphwood Movie Mania has asked, with people now able to custom make their own masks, is it possible that Corey would make his own Myers mask to commit the murders? It's possible, and you know, that's one of the things that he may do, but maybe they won't make it that easy in this movie world. I know that we can make our masks easier in the real world, but getting a hold of masks and getting someone to do it, it might be hard, as you would say in these movies. But I guess that Corey gets his mask from a set, whether it be a commercial set, a TV show, Laurie's set of making her memoirs, or an actual movie. From a set, from something like that, I think that's where he gets it from, because it's too close. It looks too close to the original Myers mask, unless it is Michael's mask itself, but time will tell. Chris Trash has said, for anyone who has issues with Rob Zombie's Halloween movies, watch the theatrical versions. They are way more better to watch. Still not great, but so much better. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't like either of them. I think with the theatrical versions, they're shorter, which is good, because Rob Zombie's movies are like 2 hours long. And for a Halloween film, maybe a little bit too long, but it does leave out a lot. Like the theatrical version of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 leaves out Michael speaking, die! All that kind of stuff gets left out, so there's less to moan about than the director's cut, because the director's cut has more in it, so there's more to moan about, and there's just more to just go like this. Oh my god, what have you done? But yeah, I've had to choose. I choose the theatricals, but even those don't really save the movies, to be honest. Just my PO, my personal opinion. Let me get into some of these questions again, guys, because it keeps on skipping. Here we go. I'm getting super chats here, but I didn't get a notification, which is strange. Let me just get a super chat first. Oh, here we go. Eddie Chase has sent in $2. Thank you very much, Eddie. And Eddie has asked, opinion on window staring and radio tower. I don't know about this window staring thing. I think it might be a little bit too silly. Yeah, it's fine that he wants to stare out his window, but don't make a big deal of it. Maybe him staring out the window is going to mean something in Halloween Ends, but until then, it just seems like a silly thing. But the radio tower is obviously going to be prominent in the movie, because that's what we hear. We hear that the radio tower is going to play a big part in the finale of Halloween Ends. So I know that if Michael stares out his window, he will see the radio tower somewhere. So maybe that's why he's going up to his window. But we don't want to know why he's doing things or what he's actually doing. So if they explain something like that, I don't think it's going to be great. I think that might take us away from the mystique of Michael Myers. So yes, I think the window staring will play a part, and the radio tower will definitely play a part. But how much? I don't know. Okay. I think I'm way behind, guys. I'm sorry. My chunky Geordie said, I'm having a Halloween fest at the moment and have Resurrection to watch tonight. Good luck with that one. Again, if you don't like it, keep it on in the background at least. Browse your phone, but still keep it on, because there are some scenes in it you turn around and go, oh, that was a good scene. But not trick or treat, motherfucker. Richard Francis has asked, what the song from Halloween movies? Do you mean what's the song from Halloween movies? Well, it's just John Carpenter's score, the Halloween theme. I think the most popular song from the Halloween movies is obviously Mr. Sandman. Some people still joining the chat, so good afternoon, good evening, or good morning from wherever you are, guys, wherever you're situated. And apologies, guys, I've got more super chats coming in, and I don't see them on my my live streaming page. I only see them on the actual website. But yeah, I've got another super chat from Pumpkinhead, $2. Thank you very much, Pumpkinhead. You've asked, right on cue, would you like to hear Mr. Sandman song in Ends? I don't know, because it wasn't part of the original timeline. As far as I'm aware, it first featured in Halloween 2. So it would be the very first time that the song gets played in this timeline. So yeah, do you know what? It's a tribute to the Halloween franchise after all. So yeah, I would like to hear it. I don't know. I don't want it to be the last song in the movie. So, but I think I'd like to hear it. We heard it in Halloween H2 as well, didn't we? On the radio. But that was obviously part of the franchise. That was part of the timeline at the time. So yeah, man. Oof. The Slaughtered Lamb. I'm guessing Darren from the Slaughtered Lamb said it's 33 down in where he's from in England. That's nuts, Darren. I don't know how you can handle that heat. Teal Mapper has asked, will we get a new trailer for Halloween Ends? Yeah, I think we will. The funny thing is, the trailer that we got, that's 1:16, it's called official trailer. It's not called a teaser trailer. Usually if a trailer is like what we saw, it's usually called teaser trailer, but this one wasn't. This one was called trailer. No doubt we'll get a final trailer, or at least a couple of TV spots, but we'll certainly get more footage released by Blumhouse before the movie comes out. But until then, guys, you can always watch my trailer I made. It's called Halloween Ends Extended Saga Trailer. Check it out on my channel. I will always promote it. I actually love it. I actually watch it all the time, and it gives me goosebumps. I'm not a big-headed person, but I actually love it. Solvents has said, hi mate, just found your channel recently. I'm also from Glasgow. Well, it's a really small place, Solvent, so it's always nice to see someone not just from Scotland watching the channel, but someone from Glasgow as well. It's fantastic. We've got another super chat coming in. I'm just surprised I don't see these super chats coming in the way I normally should. Here we go. Sci-Fi Samurai sends in $1.99. Thanks very much. You've asked, hi Barry, what would be your ideal ending to Ends? Again, I kind of answered it before. Sci-Fi Samurai. I don't really know. If I had to choose, I'd like to see Michael survive. I'd like to see Laurie die. But I'd like it for them to close the story and close this chapter, even with Michael surviving. But how did they do that? I actually don't know. Don't know how they would do it, but I'd like to see them try something. Sort of like they done with Halloween in 1978. It was supposed to be the end, and they ended it perfectly because Michael didn't die. We didn't see him die. He just disappeared. He just went somewhere. Very mysterious. So maybe we'll get another mysterious thing going on. Next super chat comes from Eddie Chase. He sends a very generous $10. Eddie has said, what sequel in the series you hated but grew to like more with more viewings and improved in your ranking? Also, what sequel is universally bad with fans but you don't mind watching in the background? I'll answer the first bit first. So, one that I get more joy out of now after more watching is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. When I first watched the film, it was terrible. I just didn't like it because I was waiting for Michael Myers and he just didn't appear. But after I grew older and appreciated the film more for what it was, then I just grew to love Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. It was not one of my favourites in the franchise because there's still more ahead of it. I just love it. I just think it's so unique and it's fantastic. Also, to answer your other question, what sequel is universally bad with fans but you don't mind watching? Well, I don't know why it's universally bad, but Halloween H2O is one that's not universally bad, but I hear a lot of bad things about Halloween H2O, more so now than I did back in the day. Back in the day, we all loved it. It's the best thing since sliced bread, but there are some people who just can't get out of that zone where they think it's like Dawson's Creek, etc. But that's what it was. It came out in 1998. It is a slasher from the late 90s. They're all the same. It's not a bad thing, because a lot of the slashers from the late 90s I love. And Halloween H2O is a perfect example of that. Absolutely love Halloween H2O. Not only would I stick it on all the time and have it on in the background, I will watch it with my full attention. I love it so much. Yeah, let's see. See, one of those super chats is coming in now. Don't know what's happening there. Oh, I'm definitely way behind. And that's why, guys, sorry. You'll probably see me answer these questions from like half an hour ago. Apologies. There we go. Jennifer Lopez is in the house. The real Jennifer Lopez. Metal Health Racing has asked, what are your thoughts of the firefighters fighting Michael in Halloween Kills? I liked it. It's cheesy moments, but overall I really liked that scene. If you want to see a high body count, what better way to do it than to give us a scene like that? It's firefighters, so they're not like just your standard civilians. Michael's got a little bit of fight against him, because he's not only got a few people to kill. These firefighters are usually quite heavy built, and they've got a lot of weaponry, or they've got things that they can use as weapons. Darren has said, you can't see the super chats. A Scotsman missing money. Something is amiss here. I know, Darren. Scotsmen love their money because we're all poor. Blah, blah, blah. Mr. Broslice said J-Lo. Yep, J-Lo. Jennifer Lopez loves my channel. I think it was her husband, Brad Pitt. I think it was her husband, what's his name? Ben Affleck, who recommended my channel to her. So, yeah, they both watch my channel, you know. Fabian has said, I love that collection behind you. Can you put that mask on behind you? The best channel about this franchise. Thanks very much, Fabian. I won't be putting it on though, because it's a pain getting off of that and putting it on my head and making a fool of myself and then putting it back up again. But that's not all I've got. I've got other ones up here, right? Watch this, guys. Anyone watching? Let me see. Can you see that? It takes a while for me to get this. Oh, here we go. Ta-da! So I've got the skull, witch, pumpkin. That's just a World Cup. Ignore that. 7 to 8 H2O, 7 to 8, and the 7 to 8 pumpkin there. That's what they are. So yeah, that's my mask collection, but that's the one that usually just sits there because that's the main mask that I've got, and it does look pretty good behind that lighting. Always really like that. Okay. Modern Peasants has asked, would you like to see... Oh, yeah, sugar. Yeah, would you like to see a true crime remake of Halloween, aka Zodiac or Seven? What? What do you mean? Would you like to see a true crime remake of Halloween, aka Zodiac or Seven? I don't quite understand. Do you mean like make it like as if it's like a true crime film? I don't know. Sorry, apologies, I don't know. We've got ourselves another super chat. Oh, Andy has sent in 55 secs. Thanks very much, Andy. What's sec? S-E-K? Either way, thanks very much. Andy said, love your channel, really like your extended saga trailer. Question, is the poster really the final poster, or will they get a new one? It's a little lazy. Yeah, I think we'll get another one, Andy. I think the first posters that are released for each of these movies, you'll notice that it's just Michael's mask in the darkness, kind of. And that's it. And then for Halloween Kills, it was the flames, and that was it, with Michael's mask. But then after that, we get other posters, like Halloween Kills, we've got the character posters with Karen, Laurie, Alison, and we even got one of the 3 females on the same poster. So yeah, I think we're going to get more posters. I personally like the simplistic posters with just the mask on them. It's a little ironic, Andy, because you've got one of the posters as your picture. Shame on you. But yeah, I like it. But yeah, I think we'll get more posters. Another super chat came in from Arthur Vega. Arthur sent in a generous $5. Thanks very much. You've said, I love to see how broad the fandom for Halloween is. Seeing Michael Myers fans from different countries is awesome. I think that's fantastic as well. I just had Andy sending in 55 SEK. I don't know what country that is, but we've got fans all over the world of Halloween, which is fantastic, because you would think when a movie comes out in a specific country, if it's not that massive to begin with, you would think it was only fans in that specific country that pay attention to movies like Halloween. And recently, just until recently, when Halloween came out internationally, it didn't make a lot of money internationally until Halloween 2018 came out. So I'm glad that now we're getting to appreciate Halloween from fans around the world. That, like you said, Arthur, is awesome. It's amazing that something so loved can be so worldwide. If you're just joining, guys, really sorry. I've just got a really bad cough still, and I'm sneezy. Mr. Broslice has said, have you done a collab with Jimmy Champagne? If not, I'm waiting. Well, you don't have to wait, Mr. Broslice. You can go to You can go to Lee McCoy's channel called Drum Dums, and we do a collab with myself, Lee, Jimmy Champagne, Dave McRae, and the boys over at We Watched the Movie, and it's called Hallow Stream, or Hallow Stream Kills, or in this case, the latest one we've done, Hallow Stream Ends. So if you want to see me doing a collab with Jimmy, then go and check out those videos on Lee's channel. But yes, we will do more in the future. We'll get more collabs out there, especially after the end of Halloween Ends. Maga Cat has says, Barry, it was terrible when Laurie called Myers the Shape in H18. I mean, I think that's a bit of just a tribute to the name, the Shape. He never got called the Shape in the original. He was just called the Shape in the credits, and that was it. So for her to say the Shape was a little bit off, to be honest. But it was just fan service, to be fair. But yeah, it was a little bit cheesy, to be honest. Wasn't cheesy some of the lines in Halloween Kills, of course, but still cheesy. Christopher Keith has said, hopefully another win next week for Rangers and not another horror like start. Yeah, like what happened in Belgium. For those of you who don't know, guys, I'm a Rangers fan. I'm a football fan or soccer fan. I've actually got, hold on, I'll get it for you. Got one of these made. Made it myself. Well, I got it custom made for me, and then I spray painted it and put ribbons on it. My son is a Celtic fan, so hopefully at the end of the season, what we've done is we've bought green and white ribbon, and we've also bought red, white, and blue ribbon. This is purple and white just now because that's the colours of the actual SPFL Champions Premiership by Cinch. So one of us will be lifting this cup at the end of the season, and it's hopefully going to be Rangers. Anyway, guys, sorry if you're not a fan of soccer or football. That's just a tiny bit of football chat there. Sorry. Back onto the horror. And here we go. Fenton has said, closest to the World Cup we will ever be. Yet my World Cup up there. My hands are all over that one. Although my son is a really good footballer. He is 11 just now, and he plays for a good football team. And his coaches are, he plays for two teams at the moment. His coach in one of the teams is John Sutton, which is Chris Sutton's brother. Chris Sutton played for Celtic, and his other coach is Paul Slane, who also played for Celtic and Motherwell. And Sarah Robertson, I think her name is. She's a striker for Rangers women's team. So, he's getting coached by the best. So if he continues doing what he's doing, then maybe my son will be picking up that World Cup one day. Next one is Don Harrison. Hey Barry, I heard NECA will possibly release its Michael Myers figure for Ends sometime in September. If so, hopefully it won't spoil anything. Yeah, I think I don't have the Halloween Kills Michael Myers, but it spoiled things. I actually done a video on my... I think I done a video... I'm sure I did. A video on my channel about the NECA figure, which I still haven't bought. And it had the baseball bat in it. And I'm like, well, what's Michael Myers doing with a baseball bat? He obviously gets a baseball bat at some point and kills someone with it. And then when Tommy picked up that baseball bat in Halloween Kills... As soon as he picked that up, I was like, Tommy's a dead man. Tommy's getting killed by that baseball bat at the hands of Michael Myers. And all because of that NECA figure. That's how I knew exactly what was going to happen. So yeah, NECA figures can spoil some things. They don't completely spell it out, but yeah, I think it can spoil some things. American Turkey Burger is a cool name. Who is your favourite MLS football club? I'll probably just say Los Angeles, because I love Gareth Bale. I don't watch a lot of MLS. I watch more MLS now than I did before. But yeah, I tend to follow the clubs that have players that I really like from the MLS. Aaron Click says, Barry, just joining, welcome. Do you have a good feeling about Ends? Neutral feeling about it, or do you have a bad feeling about it? I think I've got if I have to rate my feeling from 1 to 10, I'll say about 7.5. I've got a good feeling, a good vibe about Halloween Ends. I think it'll be better than Halloween Kills. If it's anywhere near as good as Halloween 2018 or better, then we're on to a good end. The thing about Halloween 18 and Kills is I prefer Kills for Michael Myers, but I prefer H18 for its story. If they can put the two of them together and give us that, both positives in Halloween Ends, then I think we're on to a winner. But again, you never know, they could completely mess it up. J Pearson 568 says, I made that pumpkin, Jennifer. Oh, J Pearson, is that you that made that pumpkin? I couldn't find if that's what you're talking about. Everyone's been asking me about this pumpkin for ages. Every time I do a video, I've got at least one person saying, where did you get a pumpkin from? And I had to keep telling them that someone made it for me. Don't know if they still sell it or what, and I can't remember who it was that sold me it. Is that you, Jay Pearson? If it is, let me know if that's what you're talking about. And if it is, then I'll let people know. Ah, Andy. SEK is Swedish crowns. Oh, nice one. You're from Sweden? Sweden. Love Sweden. Well, I've never been to Sweden, but I want to go to Sweden or Finland, Norway, Denmark, Iceland. I just love to go to Scandinavia. Never been, but it just looks amazing. Yeah, Mega Cat, you liked my trailer, I think. That's what you're talking about. Or maybe not. You're not talking about, are you? I've just seen you. I'm just reading the conversations that people are having as well. Yeah, Jay Pearson saying, enjoyed that Halo stream ends. Yeah, so that was the stream that me and the other guys done on Halloween. Darren said, World Cup, are you still talking about Archigemo? I'm too young for Archigemo, Darren. In fact, the last and the first World Cup I watched with Scotland in it was World Cup 1998. That was the only one that I watched. And sadly, that was the last time we were in the World Cup. So we'll get there again. Don't you worry. Jay Pearson has asked, Barry, would you like to see more 7 to 8 flashbacks and ends? I don't know if you were here at the beginning, Jay, but I did say at the beginning that I've got some videos scheduled on the channel that discuss certain things. So there's no point in discussing them here because you'll see them in the next video. But that is one of the videos. So good guess. That's one of the videos that I've got scheduled for upload in a couple of days' time. So look out for that video with me discussing the flashback scenes. We've got another super chat from Austin Williams. He sends in a generous $4.99. Thanks very much for that, Austin. You've said, what would make or break this movie for you? Huge fan. Well, first of all, thanks very much, Austin. What would make or break this movie? Oh, I would say not keeping dead characters dead. For example, Tommy Doyle and Karen. Could you imagine, maybe not the outcry from everyone, but for me, if at the beginning of Halloween Ends we find out that Karen's alive and Tommy Doyle is alive, and even to top it off, if Sheriff Brackett survived that slash to the throat, can you imagine they all turned up in Halloween Ends? I think that would break the movie for me because I know the movies aren't realistic, but that just takes that grounded aspect of these movies away because everyone's safe, to be honest. So that would maybe make or break it for me. Got another super chat in from Briar Grace, who sends in $4.99 as well. Thanks very much for that. You've said hopefully better dialogue. Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully better dialogue and ends. Some very cringy moments and kills which hurt movie overall and took focus away from Myers, who was perfect. 100%, yeah. I mean, if you take anything away from Halloween Kills, apart from the flashbacks, of course, is the character of Michael Myers. Probably the best Michael Myers that we've ever had in all of the Halloween movies. And that includes the original from 1978. Again, that's just in my opinion, but he was absolutely fantastic. And like you said, perfect. The dialogue has to be better. I'm hoping that they've taken that on board and they've read a lot of comments about the dialogue, Evil Dies Tonight. But like someone says before, we saw it in H18 with I Saw Him, The Shape. You're like, oh, that was a cringy moment. You didn't have to put that in there. So less of that and more serious dialogue, I would say. But thanks for your super chats, guys. X Connor X has said Rangers unsubbed. Boo, that's a shame. I meant Queen's Park Rangers. Jennifer Lopez says I like Celtics. Are you talking about Boston Celtics? Not that kind of Celtics that we're talking about. We're talking about Celtic without the S. Fentony says 56. I know what that means. Just keep that between us. Jay Pearson is a Tottenham fan. I like Spurs. I like the new top. It's really nice. Nice white with a yellow collar. Very nice design. Very plain, but simplistic. And of course, Son is my favourite Spurs player. Mr. Broslice said, totally unrelated, but are you a Batman fan of any sort? No, I'm not a Batman fan at all, to be honest. Anything I like about Batman is only because of Christopher Nolan, to be honest. I really liked Batman Begins. The Dark Knight is one of my favourite movies of all time. And I really like, what do you call it? The Dark Knight Rises. Well, it's slightly overrated, to be honest, Dark Knight Rises, but The Dark Knight is just phenomenal. But that's as far as I really go with Batman, to be honest. Modern Peasants says, Connor X, you for real? That's when he said Rangers unsubbed. I don't think he's for real. Connor comments on my channel quite a lot. I'm sure he's just joking. Time will tell. You never know. American Turkey Burger says, go FC Cincinnati. Are they a new team, FC Cincinnati? Because I don't remember them being in the MLS before, but they just promoted, or I don't know. You get a lot of new teams in America all the time. It's hard to keep up, because obviously you get Inter Miami and New York City. Haunted Hobo has asked, how much do you think Halloween Ends will make at the box office? I tend to do maybe 2 or 3 videos about this, Haunted Hobo. One is like my initial thoughts before we see any trailers, and then I do one after the trailers, which I've still not done yet, which I will do, and then one leading up to it, depending on the hype of the movie. So I've not done my second box office prediction yet. I can't give you a figure at the moment, because I'd actually do calculations. I don't just pick it out of the top of my head. I do some educated guessing and educated calculations. So I will do another video about that soon. I've just not got around to it yet. Maga Cat has said you've got to go. I'm not sure if you're still here, Maga Cat, but I'll see you later. Big Nerd or Big Earned, Big NRD said, would you like to see a remake of Halloween 4? No, I wouldn't like to see a remake of Halloween 4, because I think Halloween 4 is considered one of the better Halloween movies in the franchise. But in saying that though, Halloween 2018 is basically a remake of Halloween 2 from 1981, because it takes over for Halloween 2. So never say never, but I wouldn't like to see a remake of Halloween 4. Like maybe a sequel like we discussed before, but certainly not a remake of it. Jay Pearson said, yes, it's me, bro. I still make them. There you go, guys. So, whoa. So for anyone who likes My Little Pumpkin, finally we've found the owner and the mastermind behind this. Is Jay Pearson 568. You can see him in the chat, guys. If you are interested, you will need to contact him to pick it up. It's fantastic. Let me just put it on. I've not actually got it on. The lighting doesn't do it justice, but I can assure you it looks fantastic when it's dark in the room and it's just giving that little glow. Really nice. Me, myself, and the movie has said, hope to see you at For the Love of Horror in October, mate. Are you still going? Absolutely, yeah. For anyone who's actually going to these conventions, I go to For the Love of Horror most years. I went last year. I go with my friend Rob from Wales, and Joseph from Ireland. Those are the two that I usually meet up with all the time. As far as I'm aware, the 3 of us are still going, and we're all going to be there. Shane, another one that I catch up with as well. So yeah, I'll be there with a bunch of people. So if anyone's going to be there and you see me, then come and say hi. Unfortunately, I don't know all your faces, so you need to let me know who you are. because I won't recognise most people. But if you do see me, I'm a really nice person. Just come and say hi and I'll say hello to you. Unless I'm hiding somewhere. So apologies guys, I'm having to scroll down again. I say this in all my live chats that I just keep on losing my space. Raymond Langlands is in the house. Just joined. Welcome. You've said, how big or small do you think Lindsay Wallace will play in the new movie? So how big a role do I think she'll play? I know that the trailer suggests that she's not even in it, but obviously she is. But I think she'll play a bigger role in Halloween Ends than she did in Halloween Kills. Don't know if that means she'll die or what, but I think she'll have a bigger speaking role in it because Halloween Kills just reintroduced her, and because she was one of the only surviving returning characters in Kills, tells me that she's got a bigger part to play in Halloween Ends. That's why I think anyway. Connor's just joking. Bit of crack. Are you from Ireland, Connor? Bit of crack. Crack means banter for people who don't know. Not actual crack. Blah, blah, blah. Martin Curry has asked, which horror franchise would you like to see rebooted next? I support Blackburn Rovers. It's a good question. Good luck to Blackburn Rovers this year. They're in the Championship. What would I like to see? Well, I think they've already announced it, but I would like to see the Final Destination franchise rebooted again. Don't know if I'd like to see it as a remake or a reboot or a requel or a sequel or a prequel, whatever. I'd like to see more Final Destination movies. Maybe bring back Devon Sawa. You never know. He didn't die on screen, so I think they can find a way to bring him back. Scarlett Jonancy has asked, are you Scottish? Yes, I am Scottish. I thought people would recognise the Scottish accent like from a mile away. Like, I sound like Ewan McGregor, I sound like Gerard Butler, I sound like James McAvoy. I don't really sound like Sean Connery, he's from Edinburgh, but surely you can tell the Scottish accent. If you've seen Trainspotting, then obviously, or Small Faces. Or if you've ever seen the movie Filth with James McAvoy, which is fantastic by the way, that's the Scottish accent. I'm from Glasgow, so somebody said to me a while ago, your accent's thick. I'm like, no, my accent's not thick. Maybe it's because that person's not Scottish, they think my accent's thick. But if you come to Scotland and you go up the Highlands and the Islands in Edinburgh, Dundee, Falkirk, Inverness, Aberdeen, anywhere, most of those people have thick Scottish accents. The higher up you go, the thicker their accent is. But if you come to Glasgow, our accents are just, I don't know if it's because I'm from Glasgow and it's normal to me, but I think our accents are the easiest out of most of the Scottish accents to understand. Yeah. Me, myself in a movie. Not actual crack. Yeah. Yeah, so just the banter, not the crack. Not the real crack. Or the bum crack. Mr. Bro Slice, what is your favourite Michael mask? My favourite mask is the original still. But I do like the mask from the original. I like the original mask from the flashback scenes in Halloween Kills. I think they've done it so well. Yeah, Blade has asked, did you hear the news that we could finally be getting a new Friday the 13th movie in the near future? Man, I think we're going to get more news about that later in the year. I think there's a full interview coming out at the end of the week about it, and then more news will come out near the end of the year. But yeah, I'll be excited to see what happens with that, because that's obviously a franchise that I will definitely cover on the channel. So more news on that to come, I guess. Vive la France has said, is Shrek Scottish? Not a serious question. Well, it may not be a serious question, but yeah, I think he's supposed to be Scottish. I think the problem with Mike Myers, who plays Shrek, is his Scottish accent is very Canadian. And most Canadians sound like that when they're trying to do a Scottish accent. We've got another super chat, and it's from KM Svensk, who sends in $4.99. KM's actually a patron of mine as well, so another very generous donation you've put into the channel. So thanks very much for that, KM. You've said, what would happen if they had just left Halloween and Halloween Kills as is, and then set up a new storyline years later with a new cast? Well, I would hate that, to be honest, because it would leave unanswered questions for what happened at the end of Halloween Kills. Or do you mean what happens if they didn't do 18 and Kills and just set up a new storyline later? If there was no H18 and Kills, is that what you mean? If so, then I wouldn't mind, because we wouldn't have Laurie Strode, we would have a different character, main character, etc. I wouldn't know unless I saw it, but it would probably feel something like Halloween 4 when that came out back in the day. How people felt about that, not having the main characters come back, unless, obviously Dr. Loomis came back. But I think I would still be intrigued, and I would probably still watch it. And who knows, it might have been better than what we got. But it's an interesting question. Carlos Mendoza has asked, have you seen the trailer for the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game? Yeah, I have. It looks pretty good. I'm not a massive video game fan. I play FIFA because I love my football, but not sure I'll buy it. The Evil Dead game looks pretty cool though, as well. See you later, Mr. Bro Slice. If you're still here, I see that you have to go. I will have to go in a couple of minutes as well, guys. I was only planning on doing this for an hour, but I've lasted 1 hour and 15 minutes. But I'll stay for another 5 minutes or so just to catch up on the rest of the questions, and then I will need to sadly go. Imran Transam, is that what your name is? Or is it Imran Transam? Or is it Imran? Right, Imran Transam 78 said, hope Michael does not talk and ends. All this about being a very different type of Halloween movie has me a little worried. I don't think you get anything to worry about in terms of Michael speaking. I don't think they'll do that. I know there was rumours that he spoke in Halloween Kills, and I'd done a video on that before as well, but that was just for a laugh. I don't think he will speak in that. So if anyone's upset about anything in it, which I hear we're supposed to be, I don't think that's the reason for it, personally. And I think that's me caught up, guys. So I'll probably call it quits there, if that's okay with you guys. And again, thanks for all your engagement. Thanks for the super chats that have came in. Very generous as always, guys. I know this was a bit of a spur of the moment live chat. I only announced it like 2 hours before that I was going to do it. I find it very hard to get live chats in here, and I try live streams, and I try and do as much as I can, but I just recognised that my last live stream was 9 months ago. Didn't realise it was that long ago. Just shows you how time flies. But again, thanks to everyone for contributing, whether you've left a super chat or not. Just engaging with me is good enough. Leaving a like, sharing the video, sharing any videos, subscribing, all of that. I absolutely appreciate it, guys. I never thought I'd ever get to where I am on this channel, and I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for you guys. So thanks very much for all you guys. Thanks a lot for watching again. thanks for subscribing, and I'll talk to you soon as usual. If you get any questions before I go, any questions that you maybe want to get answered, then just leave a comment at the end of this video. Not in the live chat, because I might not see that. Leave a comment on the actual video, and hopefully I can get around to it as soon as I can. But thanks again, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.